down for that we're going live. So hi everybody. Welcome to Fempreneur True Confessions podcast.
Welcome, everyone. I am Laura. I'm the owner of ODAA, Virtual Assistant Agency and Consulting, and we are a boutique style agency that has an amazing team of virtual assistants, online business managers behind us, and we work hard to make you feel that in your business, like you are supported with a real hands-on open door kind of feel so that you have that not only is the insanity of getting work done in your day getting done, but really that you have someone there to support you in your business strategically and as well as in tasks that need to be completed on a deadline for sure. So we are here to help you out with that. And Angelique.
Yep, I'm Angelique with Lady Powerhouse Solutions. And Lady Powerhouse Solutions is a heart centered approach to offering project and event management to women entrepreneurs on fire and lighten up the world with their passion and drive to achieve their missions. And we do this in the most authentic way possible.
Wonderful. Welcome, everyone. And together we are Fempreneur True Confessions podcast. And our mission is to empower women in business and in life to live authentically and truly authentically, to support each other instead of competing. We are definitely non-compete kind of women. And to model this authenticity through our business, our personal relationships, and to empower other women to do the same thing.
Awesome. Sorry. I just noticed we're not live on Facebook, so I'm checking YouTube. But
Oh,
so in addition to that, what we really strive for is to normalize the struggles and challenges that we have as female entrepreneurs and share the lessons that we've learned. The common goal being that we're lifting each other up, we're lifting women up, we're never tearing them down. And the goal is to normalize what it looks like when women succeed at supporting each other. We support each other, we build up each other's confidence as we use our gifts and passions to fulfill our life's calling. So, what we're trying to do is build, maintain, and grow this sisterhood that believes in an abundance mindset, sharing our struggles and helping each other rise to our highest potential. So, Laura, please introduce our guest today.
absolutely. So we have Querin. She was born in Brooklyn, New York, and raised on planet Earth. Let's hope so. Though I don't always know. Querin can be found living life to the fullest while traveling, modeling, freelance writing. Wow, for magazines and doing over and okay, while doting
Sorry.
over three spectacular daughters. Knew this would happen. I am the queen of this. A military veteran of both the Air Force and Army. Yes, thank you for your service. Corinne
Yes.
appreciates the diversity, connections, and opportunity our country has to offer, as well as globetrotting to uncover the new and exciting possibilities. Having embarked on a personal life shift, she and two friends practiced 30 days of intentional gratitude sharing, which then eventually resulted in 365 days and culminated in a literary work on appreciation entitled A Course in Gratitude and entitled A Course in Gratitude. She
It's been one of
inspires
those days, guys.
dreamers to realize and achieve their personal financial goals by improving credit scores and providing other financial strategies for her clients. And she is at Cure My Financial Credit Scores as her business. Corinne's life purpose is to be love and encourage others to have the direction of their best possible life. So we're going to welcome Corinne on stage.
So we're going to bring Corinne in. Welcome, Corinne.
Laura, Laura.
Me in the English language.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you.
So welcome, welcome.
good.
We're really happy to have you. And, before we came on, today's been a day of technical difficulties for Laura. And so, and Corinne too, evidently. So anyway, Corinne, thank you for being with us. One of the topics that we wanted to talk about today was the challenges that you faced running a business while married. So talk to us a little bit about those challenges.
Well, first, we're mostly a company of women, regardless of the positions that we play. So my business partner and I, she started the company about 8 years ago. I joined 4, so we're partnered in all this innovation together. And most of us are married. So I'm speaking on behalf of me and the lessons that and trials that we've all had. When you have a powerful vision and like I was up to, let's just be real, I was up till 2:00 last night.
Right.
Oh,
And
we just had this conversation, didn't we, Laura?
yeah, to be like, when you get that burn, you can't do that every night, but when you get that burn and you get focused about something you've been trying to process or work through for the team, and it's fire, and you got to keep going. So to have a thoughtful, caring, understanding person, so you don't feel like you're taking advantage of the grace and the support, but then also you're not being, I don't want to feel badly for being driven, but I also don't want to neglect what I want. And like, why does anybody like me anymore? We roll in and we're rich and everything, but nobody likes me anymore. Like I did a great job running a company, but I don't have any friends and any life and any me left to offer to anybody. So that's the big part about the marriage piece and like how to balance that with each other's dreams.
How do you balance it? And I'll put in here, so the caveat to that is that I don't believe there is such a thing as work-life balance, but more of an alignment between what I love to do and the way I live.
Yeah, I could see that. So essentially what we did is we started a business. The business is Ham Deb, half of one last name and half of the other. And this household is a business. And I was feeling like there's lots of skill sets and talents that we lend out there. And I just came up with the fact that maybe we ought to do that in here. So we have a PMO, project management office, and projects come in and we assess through those projects which ones are valuable to the house and which are going to add value, and which ones we're going to take on and which ones we're going to put on the backlog. And I think, next week we need to come up with our budget. So I was like, if we're doing all of this out here, it feels better to be gifting ourselves with the same type of commitment and vision for our household and our individual selves. And that has been helping a lot. Before that, it was just all of it was out to work, out to here, out to business, out to meetings, out to workshops, out. And everybody was done when they got back home. So.
So what does that look like on a practical day-to-day basis for you?
The closest it gets to balance is we've decided to check in with ourselves and each other iteratively. We've also instituted, for the most part, there are those 2:00 nights. Can't have that every night. You get to shut down at some point. We also have a break room because we both work at home. So we have a break room, and sometimes we'll sit in the break room and, get our little tea and that's your superpower. So we go to the break room and we talk about things and talk about life and leave work alone for 15 minutes and then go back at it. So since we've been doing, I've told another friend that they were like, "Oh, I'm getting a break room."
Oh my gosh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's lunch, breakfast. So because we can't have long iterations of that sometimes, just a little pop of integrating that into the day is really super helpful. Like I just literally got up off and laying on the floor for 15 minutes in front of the fireplace because before I talked to you, I wanted to be here and I wanted to be present and energetic. And I've been in front of this computer all day, so I just popped a break. And then somehow these magic pomegranates showed up in front of me that my wife brought me. So
Love.
that's the balance of really, or some water might show up in front of her. And those little things are important. They thinking about you, even though I got to go back to my desk. And
Yeah.
I
Well,
love
that's
that.
fantastic. I love those ideas of
Yeah.
a break room. And we could even instigate, Laura, we could instigate this in Slack and just have a break room in Slack. And so people can pop in and out during the day and vent or share a meme or something like that.
Yeah, I love it.
My Slack channel has a water cooler. So I think we're just going to have to start doing more of that.
Right.
Oh, I love it. I might have
from corporate, right?
I might
But
have to
having
steal that one.
physical break room for a family that where people, I'm fortunate, no one works at home in my home but me. So I'm home alone all day and I love it. I love it so much. But I can see, I do, you guys. But I can see how where a household that has more than one person working from home, that could be a really, really good idea, especially if those people are in relationship together. And it doesn't have to be a marriage relationship. It could be siblings. It could be father, son, mother, daughter, mother, son, whatever.
Yeah.
I love it.
And that's ways to get that little bit of time in. I know, like, our son goes to work in the mornings, and depending on the day, it's 10 or noon. And then he's coming home later in the evening. Me and my husband are now off. We've had the opportunity to have conversations, but being able to touch base with him before he leaves work. And he's 18, he's grown, he probably doesn't want it all that much anyway. But knowing that there's a 10-15 minute period where I could be like, hey, and snatch him up and have a quick conversation about how the day is going to go, or are you in the right mind space? Is there anything we can do to help you? I always like to do a quick check-in with him before he hits the door about the weather, safety. Where's your mind at? Are you tired? How are things going? Did you have a good night? And it seems very odd, but if he was living out on his own, it'd be the same thing as making that morning call to him and being like, hi, I'm your mother. I'm just checking in because that's what I'm going to do for the rest of your freaking life. And I just want to make sure you're good, right? So get used to it. But that's a wonderful idea. And I know my husband and I, we have perfected this, and we don't really talk during the day at work. Like, it's rare, but I will slip his food on his desk and let him, or that kind of thing. And then I go in my office and vice versa. And we leave everything to the evening because we are, in that quiet space in the evening where it's like, okay, now let's decompress and have a conversation. But yeah, definitely.
One of the reasons I'm an Aries, so one of the reasons I can't stack it to the evening, because I'm a people person, I'm out. By that time, sometimes I just want me. And so if I haven't shared more of myself during the day, it might be a crapshoot for me to be trying to, and my engagement, when it's not authentic, is really apparent. So I can't fake it. And so it's just better to stack that during the day. And so I don't have to I got to kick out another 3 hours of, connection. And then to your point about the children, I have kids in San Antonio and I have a grandbaby, and my daughter works with us as well. And so a lot of times I'll pop open my FaceTime. If I'm not doing anything, it's on mute. She's on mute. She's making calls, but I'm looking at the baby roll over, and it's kind of our virtual break room as well. Yeah.
Nice.
Creativity.
Yes.
Yeah,
we do have to be creative. I think as moms, we just kind of more, I don't want to say naturally, but are more instinctively learn and look for ways to do that. To be creative. They say necessity is the mother of all invention. So, so before we brought Querin in, we touched base a little bit, and Querin made a comment when we went over this topics of, you got me on a good day. Now, I think that was kind of said tongue in cheek, wasn't it?
yeah. So yeah, it's just like energetically, so many things. I'm in a space of practicing. I have an accountability partner. We meet every Tuesday. So we went on today about what we were up to, what was missing, and what we added to our practice. We usually put do this, get the business plan done, yada yada yada. Those are her things, and these are my things. This week we added kind of our soul to it. Like, what do we want to feel like in addition to what we're doing? And so we want to feel inspired, and we want to feel more the feeling of the things we're doing. The space of completion or organizing was on our list. Like, I got cards all over the place. I'm organizing, I'm purging. I want to feel more fluid. And so that kind of up leveled our accountability practice. And then I've just been presencing that all throughout the day. Because it's easy to get caught up in just the minutia of doing things all day long. And I'm not here for that. I'm here to service people in all of the businesses that I touch. I'm here for the why. I'm here for, there's a little sticker here, touch, moved, and inspired. I'm here to lead people touched, moved, and inspired. I'm here for how I can support people with getting homes or running their business better with bookkeeping and accounting. I'm not here to just waste my time. I have a gift. I need to be able to use it. Now, how do you remember to do that all day? So that's why it's a great day, because I've definitely been in check with when I forget to do that, I don't like what I'm up to. I don't feel the same, and I'm worn out. When I'm giving a gift, I have so much energy.
Well, that servant heart comes out, because we all have that servant heart in us. And then you give, and you're like, you're supposed to feel amazing because you gave all day. And so then it's like, well, dang, why don't I feel better? And you start to realize that give is there, but what did you give to yourself to then bring yourself back into that? Because you can't constantly. I think people forget that bringing that back into yourself is selfish. Back to that is that moment of selfishness. And are you allowed to have that? And why you don't want to be selfish? We're trained differently. And that it's, kicking that shit in the butt, because, and learning like, oh yeah, you've got to find time to be selfish and give and
I
take
love
back
that
into yourself.
It's become more of a not a buzzword, but kind of trendy to say self-care is selfish. Self-care is necessary in order for us to do what you're talking about, Querin, of being present and working within our gifts, working with our gifts, instead of getting caught up in the to-doism, right? The getting things done. It feels good to check things off the list, but is it getting you closer to what you're passionate about? Are you really using your gifts? And so when you talk about staying in your lane, is that what you mean, or is that something totally different?
So when I was in the Army, I met the sergeant major of the, somebody like 2 steps down from the president came to visit us in Georgia, wherever I was. And people were asking him a lot of questions. And I said, well, how does one become the sergeant major of the Army? And he said, I never forget, I probably was like 20 something. He said, stay in your lane. And it sounded a little like, like this, but he was just like the consistency of what I know now is like living in your purpose. So for me to stay focused on what I'm up to and knowing why I'm here and do that consistently. And then when I go like that, I know where to come back to. And I go like that and I know where to come back to. When you don't know your purpose and you're not focused, it's not like I'm focused on the one thing and that's credit all day long or, whatever. It's just I'm focused on what you read, being in contribution and being a source of love. And so if it's off from that, I easily know how to get back to it. And that's my lane. That's my lane. Yes. My lane is not Beyonce. I love her lane. My lane is not presidential candidate. This is my lane. And I've been more productive and feel more full by being focused on what I'm, because you know how we are. We like to do everything. I do a lot, but all of it's together. All of it has something to do with the other. And I didn't used to be like that. I would do anything anybody said, oh, girl, we could use you for that. We need you for this. And I'm like, okay. And then I would be overwhelmed and spent, and nobody would be happy. One retro back to the first topic is I have a saying that I only operate with giving from what's on the sides of my cup. So if my cup is only full, then you can't have anything. You can't. I tell people you can't stick your tongue in it. Don't you stick your finger in my glass if it's only full. Now all that juicy stuff on the sides, help yourself. If it's just full, I don't have anything for you, and I don't feel badly about it.
Wow, I really love that, because I guess there's that thought, because
Laura's having an epiphany.
Yeah, but and it is that, because I think we do try to continue to give when we don't have. Because it's like, well, you're supposed to. Again, when my son was little, it was sports, it was work, it was constantly running. I never missed a practice, I never missed a game. In 9 years, 10 years of that going on, and it was 3 different sports all year long. And
look at her face, she's going through it again. She's like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh. And when it finally all dwindled down and it was like not there, I had a small moment of, well, what do I do now to fill up that time? And it was a very short window, because I was like, screw that. Even if I just sit on the couch and stare at the wall, that felt so amazing to me in that moment, where I realized I had spent years not having that ability to do that, and love my son, love my husband, love our family. And that commitment was worth it when he was young. But now to put in that kind of time and energy and that kind of thing would not happen. I wouldn't have it. It'd be one of those moments. I'm older now and the energy isn't there for that. Luckily I was younger, but it's that same idea, is I continue to give and give and give. And now the ability to be able to do that same type of energy level, no, not in that way.
Laura, too, as we matured, we realized we don't have to, right? Like it, we have a choice. We have a choice, in saying no is okay.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's really hard for us to wrap our little brains around sometimes, as women, especially as caregivers, like the main caregivers in our family, for the majority of the families out there.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to say no to anything. And Querin, you kind of touched on that by saying, well, I know that the way I look at it is, if I say yes, that means I have to say no to something else. And by saying no to this, I can still say yes to the other things. So it's similar to what's flowing over the sides. Okay, let me check. Let me see if I'm overflowing. Oh, nope, I'm not. Sorry, that's a no. Or, but I really want to do this. Well, let me look at maybe what's in my cup that I really am not enjoying anymore. And look at it that way. But knowing that there's a cup, there's a limit. And when you say yes to something, that means you're saying no to something else. And what is it?
Yeah, that's powerful.
So, Querin, for you, looking back on, how long have you been in business?
Overall? Overall, this iteration, 4 years, but off and on a long time.
Yeah, same.
Like 07, 15 years.
I would have
your
to
wife
say, though,
too?
No, she's straight military. She was a coach, a basketball player, coach, referee, and in the military. So she just left that 2 years ago.
What made her leave?
It's time to go. They'd be like, okay, you did enough, get out.
Oh, that's true with the military. They did the same thing with my stepdad, who he was in a branch of the military as well. He kept reinvesting, and they're like, yeah, no, not anymore.
Yeah, she's a lieutenant colonel, and they were like, thank you for your service. Carry on.
Yeah. Well, what about for you, though? Like, over the last, I know for me, my growth as a business person, because I've been a serial entrepreneur for decades, but I finally really got serious and went full time for myself. And I'm not working for anybody else anymore ever again. I don't think I can. You've done it. It's like after you've experienced some level of luxury, or what you consider to be luxury. It's like, then you can never go back. It's like, I had Luxardo cherries. I can never go back to maraschino. That's the first thing that popped into my mind. But if you've ever had Luxardo cherries, you know what I am talking about. Okay.
Never
What?
have.
Yeah, well, put it on the list. I'm just saying. Um, what have you found over the past, I don't know, just the like you said, the last iteration? What are those hurdles and those stumbling blocks that you've come out the other side going, okay, never doing that again? Or, whatever. What are areas where you've grown that you can share these, what do they call them? Bits of wisdom.
I think the biggest thing that I learned, I mean, doing, figuring out people and budgets and other things and wanting to do projects and that type of thing in your plan is one thing. But literally, because of the type of work we do and doing it with a team of people, um, it's how much the work that you do reflects who you are. And so, specifically, like with credit, this is what I'll find. I always attract my clients, and my coworker will always attract their clients, the people that are perfect for them, the people who've been married several times, or their moms had depression or something. Like they came to me. It's weird. Like, why wouldn't signed up to meet with so and so? And so I have to constantly get out of my own way because I'm looking at my feedback. And I can't show up to a person who wants to purchase a home with desperation when they're in a desperate situation. Desperation can't meet desperation. So I wasn't expecting all of this. I just thought you go out here, you do your little thing, you service some folks and things and stuff happen, and you make some money and you have some fun. But all of the spiritual work that it is, the energetic work, the honest feedback, you can hide in corporate a little something, just a little tiny bit. You can hide because it's like a machine and you got on the back tailgate of it and you just whatever. But when it's just you and these are your ideas and your hours you put together and you late for work when you set up the schedule.
I preach, girl.
Accountability 101, man. You can't put this on nobody else. Yeah. Like you set these dreams and these goals and my business partner is like, go for it. Whatever you can dream, we can do in this company. And so if I don't hit it, who made it up? It's no corporate Fortune 500 level agenda. It's like I made up this goal and then I'm sabotaging it. So I wasn't expecting that, but boy, am I grateful for it. I mean, I've grown so much and I've always wanted to do this. And every time I had a corporate job, I would dip out and try it and get in and dip out and try it. I'd be excited about getting a new job. And 3 weeks later, I was Googling like, how can I set up my life coaching business? And what about professional organizing it? My brain could not, stay in there. And then I would pretend in corporate that I worked for myself.
Well, we have all kinds of coping mechanisms, Joe.
All a mind game.
Well, so something you mentioned clicked a memory for me. So there's a money coach that Laura and I know, Joe Burns. And as part of a group coaching program, and I have access to him on a annual, semi-annual basis, right? And one of the master classes he taught, I think it was, I don't know, somewhere along the line, he said, get this wad of money, put it on your desk and talk to it every day.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, let's do that. So I got the biggest denominations of money I could get my hands on, put it on my desk. And one day, and he said, ask it, what do I need to do to get more of you? Basically, more money like that, right? And I thought, okay, all right, money, what do I need to do to get more of you? And it quite clearly said, try getting your ass out of bed on time. I know, right? And I was like, what? No, you did not just say that to me.
Don't talk to me like that.
Right? It was true. And was that really the money? No, that was me giving myself the truth, right?
Yeah.
But it was spot on because I had been slowly sliding into, I'll just wake up a few minutes later. I'll be fine. The desk is only 3 feet away, kind of thing, right? So really, a lot of times I have found that the answers are already here.
Yeah.
And there are people in that, like you said, we attract the people that maybe we don't want, but we need.
Mhm.
Or they are challenging to us because we see ourselves in them and our
Mhm.
own shortcomings or our own challenges. Have you seen this happen? Does this happen? Am I the only one?
No, you're
No,
not the
it's
only
not.
one.
I don't think
And
so
then so it
either.
allows for me to, what would I want in that situation? You know, would I want to be judged or would I want to exercise some compassion? I had a client once, like I said, we specifically with the credit business, and we meet every 40 days to give them, you know, accountability and check in on how the progress is going. And so month to month, I'm like, and you need to do this, and you need to do this, and so we also ask their goals, how much by when. So it's usually about 7 rounds, and round about the 5th round, I was like, I'm gonna call her Susan. I was like, look, Susan, you said you wanted to do what by when? And she's like, da 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 da. And I was like, well, this, and this don't line up with that. And what you're gonna do not apply for another car. And she said, I really like this, Querin. Where has this Querin been? Why talk to me like that next month?
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah. We had a discussion a couple guests ago where it was like, who are you in this? You know, and
Yeah.
it's one of those where that mirror is hard. Like if you throw it up in someone's face or you rip the band-aid off and then you're like, look, I'll be here for you, but this is going to be painful for a second. And you rip it off.
Yeah.
You just do what needs to be done. And they're going to be angry. They're going to have a little mini fits, however long it's going to take. But then they eventually can come around because the hardest thing is to face that freaking mirror. That goddamn mirror.
And she wasn't hearing it. The smooth and easy for 4 months. She was like, same thing every month. But when I was like, what you're not going to do is do this. And she was like, oh, I need that right there. Do it again. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I got you, boo.
Yeah.
And you don't realize how much you need it until it really is. And there's 2 reactions, you know. Usually it's and then they come around.
Well, isn't that usually though the first reaction is like, oh, it was mine.
How dare
when the money talked back to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I know you didn't just say that to me.
No, you did not.
Right? You got the head going.
No, we all get our little inner attitude going, right? Like,
it's too funny.
That, you know? But you and I cussed. There we go. First F-bomb on this one. Sorry, guys. We do make it 18 and older, so just
Yes, we do. Because we're genuine and authentic.
Yes, for sure.
So when you talk about the numbers, right? One of the things that you mentioned was the truth about the numbers. What exactly does that mean for you?
For me, when it comes, I think what my heart was thinking about when that happened is when I was in corporate, you know, I was a 6-figure earner, and you get your little degrees, and then you and you get in the right places and you keep going. But I noticed like you tap out, you know, I tapped out at around, you know, mid 6 figures, like 130, let's say. Well, here there's the possibility to go to the moon. But sometimes in this process, I've had to go backwards. I don't like the word. I don't like saying it that way. Not backwards. It just isn't as significant. It feels different. Like what I make now, putting in sweat equity for something that matters to me, is never anything I would work for in the public sector. Not at all. I'd be like, you got to be crazy. But it doesn't feel like lack with the real numbers. And I don't think everybody has the heart for that, because they'll be like, well, I quit because of yada, yada, and I da-da-da. And whenever I get discouraged, I watch Sarah Blakely hand out all those checks and plane tickets. I don't know if you saw that when she went public. It's one of my favorites.
No.
Yeah, the Spanx lady. And she started with her company, and she built a company with heart. We have gratitude sessions at work for our team meetings. And she was told similarly that you can't build a business with heart. You got to be all like this. And we are systematically proving that that's not true. Mm-hmm. And so with the numbers, you know, we get to be profitable and heartful. and profitable and loving and profitable and authentic and vulnerable. And so I'm excited about that. And I never would think I would take steps back and invest my time the way I do, knowing that it's all, and I can't even say knowing that's all going to pay off in the future. It's just what gets to be done.
Yeah.
Even
You
if
hold
you're
it,
not
hold
making
it
your
differently when
six
it's yours. Yeah.
Yeah. If you never made it to where you were, it still is authentically who you are now. And the idea of that just you do or don't in a business. Like everyone's like, well, I'll replace my income, right? Even if you don't. Are you enjoying what you're doing? Are you happy? Is life much better than it was? Like that's if you can say yes to that, then who gives a shit about the numbers at that point? Like if you have or have not replaced where you were, kind of thing,
And Angelique, my money's coming, so I'm gonna put it right here. I'm following something right now by Ken Honda called Happy Money. Oh my God, it's so amazing! But it talks about intangible assets and joy and friendship and love, and calculating that up with your dollars, and we don't pay attention to that. So happy money is important, and then that I feel super wealthy, which I think the numbers for business are going to follow that as opposed to the grind and then just having some plateau. So that's what I meant when I said the truth is in the numbers. It's still feedback, just like the clients. It's all feedback. I'm super grateful.
Love it.
So, Laura, you got what was it called? Intangible
assets.
So, but what was the happy what?
It's a gentleman called Ken Honda, and he has a book and an explanation called Happy Money.
Okay. I'm just wanting to make sure we get that captured for the show notes. And then also your course in gratitude. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Okay. So that's on Amazon. We'll drop a link in the show notes with that. Is it on special right now or anything? Or is it
I think it's $0.00 on there. So go get it. Yeah, on Kindle.
Okay. All right. And then, so we have our guest next week, which normally, Querin, we have the current guest introduce the next guest because we feel like it shows community and abundance mindset because we're not afraid to support, quote unquote, competitors, because there's enough to go around. But we forgot to go over that with you pre-show. So I'm just going to do that really quick. Instead of trying to fumble and do it with you, because normally we would like send it in advance and blah, blah, blah. Well, because of technical difficulties, we were rushing and didn't do that today. So, I see Laura has already got it in there. That's fantastic. So thank you, Querin, for being with us today. We appreciate your time and who you are. And, we will be including all of her links and her website and Course in Gratitude and all that in the show notes. And next week, we will have Jean Walters. Jean Walters has been, and this is a client of mine, Jean Walters has been a St. Louis-based teacher of self-empowerment principles for 40 years. She has studied metaphysics extensively and applies universal principles to every area of her life. Her articles have appeared in major newspapers and publications, and her syndicated radio show Positive Moments was broadcast in 110 markets nationally. Jean's passion is helping people recognize their innate power and place in the universe and to live fully from that knowing. Her specialties are transformational coaching, metaphysics, dream interpretation, Akashic record reading. She's done over 35,000 of those, and public speaking. And we're looking very much forward to having this conversation with Jean and hearing her insights on managing fempreneur challenges. So look forward to talking to Jean next week. Thank you again, Querin. It's been a pleasure to have you. And
thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.